the world that what? He gave His only begotten Son. You know, it doesn't say God really liked everybody, and so people finally persuaded Him to send Jesus Christ to become our sacrifice for sin. No. The initiative was not on man's part. The initiative was not, God, I need you, forgive me of my sins, I want to be your servant. That's not what it was. The initiative was on God's part. I want to put a little something in here that is not in the Bible. I want you to use your imaginations for a moment. Go back to the time of the Garden of Eden. There's Adam and Eve. There they are. They're enjoying the beauties of that paradise of God. Satan comes along and says, how are things going? Oh, just great, wonderful. God has just given us everything. Oh, really? Yeah. Just look at all the foliage, look at all the trees, look at the fruit, look at the vegetables, look at all of these things. They're all for us. That's not pretty good. What about that tree right there? Well, no, we're not supposed to get that. Oh, you can't eat that one. Nope. Why? Well, God said if we eat that, we'll die. Oh, I can see Satan laughing. You ain't going to die. You're not going to die. Well, God said we would. You know why God said that? Because God knows something that you don't know, and God's holding back on you. What do you mean by that? Well, you know all kind of good stuff, don't you? Yeah, all this whole Garden of Eden, good. Did you know that there is a whole area of existence that God didn't tell you anything about? No, it's all good right here. He said, no, I'm talking about a different thing. It's called E-V-I-L. It's called evil. Evil? Yeah. See, you never heard of it, have you? You don't know anything at all about it, do you? No. Well, let me tell you, the devil says, evil is more fun than good. Evil has a lot to offer. God doesn't want you to have any of that kind of fun. He's holding something back on you. Really? Yeah, and I'll tell you something. If you eat the fruit of that tree, a whole world of evil will open up for you, and you'll have more fun than you could ever imagine. Oh, it does look good. I bet it tastes good too. Go ahead. Can't you see Eve picking that thing? Not an apple, whatever it was. Look at it. Yeah, you're right, boy. That's, you know, that really, I think I'll have a bite. She eats it. And Adam says, don't count me out. I want some too. And something happened. Something happened. You see, they were unclothed at that time. And all of a sudden, now that sin has entered the world, there are a lot of things that God designed as good that now become evil. They can be abused. They can be misused. Instead of the world being a world filled with good and love, now there's evil, and there's hatred, and there's animosity. Why? Because sin came into it. You see, we are so surrounded by these things that somehow or another now we have to feel like we've got to find God again. Let's look at it the other way. When Adam and Eve committed that sin, no, the Bible doesn't say this, but I cannot help but imagine it. when Adam and Eve committed that sin, God's heart was broken. Because God knew something that Adam and Eve didn't know. And that was that because of sin, God now has to take his children and put them in a different category. Now, there's something that's standing between God and his lovely, wonderful children. And he's separated from them. And he can't go to them because sin is there preventing him. And so God begins taking the initiative and says, I've got to have you back. I want you. I need you. I love you. Just like your mom and dad love you. And just like you love your children. And like you love each other. And he says there's only one way to do this. I've got to make a sacrifice that will be so effective that it will forgive their sins. Then I can have them back to myself. And the relationship that sin has broken can be put back together. And now once again, my family, my children can be with me forever and ever. And so God says, I will do all that I possibly can to let these people know I love them. I want them. I need them. I will do anything, even sacrifice my own son. And so Christ came. Why? Because God so loved the world. God is seeking you. He's seeking me. He's seeking all of us. And a part of his seeking is to tell us what is necessary in order to have sin erased from our lives, sin forgiven. And so he tells you that Christ died for your sins. Now, if you'll respond to him, you can come back to me. Yes, it's a matter of man seeking God, but it's primarily a matter of God seeking man. And he wants you back, and he asks you to respond to him. He asks you to become his child so you can call him truly your Father. That's God's invitation to you. He's inviting you. Jesus invited you, come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you will find rest to your souls. You know, the way is not easy, but the way is wonderful. If God is not in your life, let me go back to our text and say, my people have committed two sins. They have left me, the fountain of living waters, and they have hewn unto themselves cisterns, broken cisterns, that can hold no water. We're going to sing an invitation song. If you're subject to the gospel with faith in your heart, turning from your sins, pledging yourself to the Lord, being buried with him in baptism that you may have the forgiveness of your sins, we invite you to come. Let's stand together and sing, please.